Today, we're diving into an incredible story. It's about how a humble monk who was totally surrounded by powerful warlords somehow managed to found a dynasty that lasted for nearly 300 years. And the secret? Well, it comes from a timeless piece of strategy in Sun Tzu's Art of War.
All right, let's set the scene. It's the year 1356. The Yuan dynasty is falling apart, and China is just a chaotic free-for-all of ambitious warlords. And right in the middle of this storm, you've got this guy, Zhu Yuanzhang. Now, he's just captured a really key city. But let's be honest, he's a small fish in a very big, very violent pond. He's completely surrounded by rivals, guys who are already calling themselves kings, guys with bigger armies, more money, you name it. By all accounts, he should have been crushed, wiped off the map.
So this is the big question, right? How did this guy, totally outmatched and outmanned, not only survive but go on to unite all of China and become the Hongwu Emperor, the founder of the Ming Dynasty? It's an incredible turnaround. And the secret? Well, it wasn't some super weapon or just a lucky break. It all came down to a simple, 9-character piece of advice.
Okay, so his whole path to victory, it didn't kick off with some epic battle. Nope. It started with a simple but really profound piece of advice he got from a scholar named Zhu Yuanzhang.
And here it is, this 9-character phrase. It translates to build high walls, store abundant grain, and delay proclaiming yourself king. This simple sentence became his guiding star. I mean, think about it. In an age of just reckless ambition, this was a strategy of pure patience and preparation. He adopted it immediately, and it would change the course of his life. And, the course of China itself.
Okay, so let's break this down. It's got 3 key parts. First, build high walls. What does that mean? It means focus on defense. Don't go looking for fights you don't need. Just consolidate your base and make it a fortress. Second, store abundant grain. This is all about building up your economic strength, your resources, making sure your army is fed, your people are taken care of. And third, and this is the masterstroke really, delay proclaiming kingship. Just stay under the radar. Don't paint a giant target on your back by claiming some grand title. Let your rivals tear each other apart fighting over crowns while you quietly build real power.
Now here's where it gets really fascinating. This advice, it wasn't new at all. In fact, it was a perfect, practical application of some ancient wisdom from Sun Tzu's Art of War, written almost 2,000 years earlier.
There's this huge misconception about the art of war. A lot of people think it's just a manual for trickery and deception. But get this, the actual Chinese character for deception only shows up once in the entire book. Just once. The real foundation of Sun Tzu's whole philosophy isn't about being sneaky. It's about being relentlessly, diligently prepared.
And this is the quote that changes everything. This is the core principle Zhu's strategy was built on. Sun Tzu wrote, "The skilled warriors of old first made themselves invincible and then waited for the enemy to be vulnerable." It's a 2-step process, and it values security and patience above all else. Step 1, make yourself so strong you cannot be beaten. And only then, step 2, you wait for the enemy to give you an opening.
So Sun Tzu basically splits the whole idea of victory into 2 separate parts. The first part is invincibility. This is the stuff that's totally within your control. It's your preparation, your defenses, your resources, everything you do to make sure you can't lose. The second part is what you can't control. It's vulnerability. And that depends entirely on your opponent. It's that moment when they make a mistake, when they give you an opening.
So the crucial takeaway here is to focus relentlessly on what you can actually control, right? You can't force your rival to make a mistake. You can't just magically conjure up an opportunity out of thin air. But what you can control is your own strength, your own readiness, your own position. And that has to become your obsession.
And this really gets to the heart of it. It's a fundamental shift in mindset. Think about it. You can ensure that you won't be defeated, but you can never, ever guarantee that you will defeat the enemy. Your primary goal isn't victory, it's non-defeat. It's about building a foundation so rock solid that when an opportunity finally does show up, and trust me, it will, you're perfectly positioned to grab it without any real risk to yourself.
All right, so theory is one thing, but how did this ancient wisdom actually play out on the battlefield? Let's jump back to Zhu Yuanzhang and see how he put this all into devastatingly effective practice.
I mean, look at this. His actions map perfectly onto Sun Tzu's principles. Building high walls and storing grain. That was his real-world playbook for making himself invincible. It was all stuff entirely within his own control. And delaying kingship, that was the ultimate act of patience. Just staying quiet, avoiding the spotlight, and waiting for his enemies to make a mistake.
So while all his rivals were out there fighting these bloody, super expensive wars and shouting about how they were the new emperor, Zhu Yuanzhang was playing a totally different game, a much smarter game. He put his soldiers to work as farmers. He lowered taxes so the people loved him. He stayed out of the big brawls, letting his two main rivals just tear each other apart. And while they were busy with that, he was quietly picking off smaller, weaker territories, slowly but surely building this unshakable foundation of military power, economic strength, and popular support.
And this timeline just shows the incredible payoff for all that patience. For seven long years, he basically hibernated, just building his strength. Then in 1363, his rival Chen Yuliang was weak, and that's when he struck. The victory was absolutely decisive. 4 years after that, he did the exact same thing to his other rival, Zhang Xicheng. By 1368, the path was clear. He had outlasted, outprepared, and outsmarted every single one of them. And that's when he founded the Ming Dynasty.
Okay, so this is way more than just a cool history lesson. This principle, which is, 2,500 years old? It's an incredibly powerful and honestly often overlooked tool for navigating the competitive world we're all living in right now.
So why should you care about any of this? Because this idea, first be invincible, then wait for an opportunity, it's a powerful framework for success in pretty much any field. Whether you're in business, trying to manage your career, or even looking at what's happening on the world stage, this applies. It's a total shift away from those high-risk aggressive moves and towards building sustainable, resilient strength.
And you can see this strategy playing out on a national level, even today. In this context, being invincible means focusing on internal strength. We're talking about a robust economy, a prepared military, clean and efficient government systems, and investing in your own technology so you're self-sufficient. These are the modern-day high walls and stored grain. They're what create a position of unshakable strength on the world stage.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Before you even think about winning, first, make sure you cannot lose. So I'll leave you with a question. In your own world, in your career, in whatever competition you're facing, what does that look like for you? What are the foundational steps you need to take to build your high walls and store your abundant grain to make your own position completely unshakable?